All right, Steven from LOJ here again with another shop update for you guys. We've made a ton of progress on this 350Z since the last time you saw it. I think I left off the last video saying we had a bunch of wiring to do and plumbing for the dry sump system, and well, most of that is complete right now. I'd love to give you a full update on this, and I'm probably going to do a bit of a deep dive on some of the electronic functionality in another video, but for now, suffice it to say, a lot has been completed. We've essentially done all of the plumbing for the dry sump system except for the engine oil cooler, and that's simply because the oil cooler we wanted to run on this was back ordered, although I think today we got tracking information, so we'll have it by the end of the week, and that would wrap up the oil system. Then we can throw a drill on the oil pump and actually prime the system, check for leaks and all that without actually even having to run the motor. That's the beauty of having an oil pump that is mounted externally to the engine. You can do that. So that'll round out the oil system. We've also got a ton of wiring done. Is it finished? No, but I would say it is 80% or better at this point. All of the engine wiring itself is done. You can take a look under the hood. All of the wiring is run to all of the sensors. Everything's complete there, but we haven't loomed anything yet, and that's simply because first, I want to do a first start and run this thing, test everything out, make sure everything's working properly before looming a harness. The last thing I want to do is spend all that time looming something, then have to go back in to fix potential problems later. So we'll hold off until after the first start for that. The chassis is also mostly wired. You're going to see that car now has headlights on it. Headlight chassis wiring's done, fan wiring's done, fuel pump's done, all the taillight wiring, all that's complete. We've even managed to wire in power windows using the Haltech and a CAN keyboard and an external fuse box with some H-bridge relay setups in there, which when I do the electronics deep dive on this car, I'll explain a little more how that works. But yes, we got power windows triggered with the CAN keyboard, all handled by the Haltech Nexus VCU in this. We've got the IC7 dash mounted, the CAN keyboard and the relay box that we selected are mounted right on the trans tunnel within driver's reach when you're strapped in the seat. All of the chassis wiring again is run, but rough run. Nothing is loomed. It all will be loomed when we finish it up, but we want to make sure everything is tested, functional, and working first before looming everything, because nobody likes to do work twice. Some of the other things we've got running on this car are functional windshield wipers, turn signals, hazard lights, like I said, power windows. We've got manual overrides for the cooling fans, for the fuel pump. One of the things that's not done yet, but is on the short list of things to get knocked out, is a heat exchanger that we are going to mount to the dash bar aimed up at the windshield. I'm going to build a custom diffuser for that, and basically it's got a pusher fan mounted to the bottom. It's going to get plumbed to the heater hose ports, and it is going to be basically a functional defroster in the car. So if you're running it on a rainy day, a moist day, whatever, where you've got condensation building on the windshield, you can kick that on to clear the windshield. Or if you're running in cold weather, you can kick that on to get some heat in the car. But basically it's a makeshift defroster for the windshield using coolant. We have the heat exchanger and all that. I just need to build the mounts for it. Wiring's already run for it and all that good stuff. We did order new tires for the car. While the tires on it are in great shape tread depth wise, age wise they're not. We need new tires before it goes out on a track, so I believe picked up a set of Bridgestone RE71Rs, which are a good 200 tread wear, 3-season tire that'll work really well out on the track, autocross, that's that kind of stuff. We've got some new brake pads and brake rotors coming that are a better track compound. We're going to bleed it and put some better track fluid in it to get off the stuff that's been on there from when we put the car together originally. And I think that's about it. Another thing to talk about in the shop is what's behind me up here. This is a Nissan Frontier that we just got started on not too long ago. I believe it's a 2006. Extended cab, two-wheel drive, was originally a 4-cylinder, and now it's a no-cylinder truck. This is going to be basically a development vehicle for LOJ's suspension kits. We've got it up on the lift. We've started taking measurements of suspension components for designing front coilovers, rear axle flip kits with extended leaf springs and extended shackles. We're also looking at doing a semi bolt-in, as bolt-in as it can be, either 3-link or 4-link setup in the rear. More info about that in the future, and potential drop spindles for the front, but all that's forthcoming. First, we're getting this thing swapped. We're putting a 5.5 liter LS D-stroker in it. Why? because I had that motor around for another project that never came to fruition, and I've got it, so that's what we're throwing in here. It's gonna stay 2-wheel drive. We're gonna run the Frontier 6-speed manual trans behind that. We're gonna naturally aspirate it at first, maybe throw a power outer at it later. For now, we wanna get it swapped. We took all of the corner weights, ride heights, and all that completely stock. This, like I said, was a 4-cylinder automatic base model manual windows, manual locks. Basically the lightest you can get it. I think this was like 3570, somewhere in that range. Stock, so then we're gonna swap it, see what the weight is there. So we have basically a baseline for the lightest truck. My sales manager drives a 2006 Frontier V6 4-wheel drive extended cab truck. So we're gonna get some weights off of that too. So we'll have basically what's the highest end of the spectrum as far as Frontier weight, what's the low end, and we can try to work our spring rates and damper curves and all that around those weights and balances to give the best fitting solution for all of the Frontier versions that are out there. We also have a crew cab truck that we can weigh as well, but they're pretty similar in weight to the extended cabs, believe it or not. Those suicide doors are not light in these things. That's about it for where we're at on this. The next update, we'll either have the engine together and in this, or the engine together and ready to go in, and hopefully the 350Z will be running at that point. So again, thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys checking out these videos. We're excited about these builds. I hope you are too. If you don't already, please subscribe, turn on the notification bells for these videos. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook as well at LOJ Conversions, and we will talk to you soon.